aka Bullets, YouTube channel.
Hurry up, now tell us why you're here.
Cal Weathers will start at pole position with Kyle Busch-Tire to his outside. Row 2 has Juan Pablo Montoya and Mark Carton to his outside. Row 3 has Jeff Gorvette, two-time Piston Cup champion, and Casey Corner to his outside. Row 4 has Ryan Newcar and Jimmy Cables, who hopes to get his first win. Row 5 has David Rudikar, somehow, and Carl Edwards to his outside. Row 6 has Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kurt Busch-Tire, who failed to win the 2004 Piston Cup. Row 7 has Greg People and Matt Karzith, the 2003 Piston Cup champion. Row 8 has two champions, Tony Gasswert and Lightning McQueen. Row 9 has Bobby Swift and Clint Bokar. Somehow, they have not won a race yet. Row 10 has Martin Karks Jr. and Denny Carlin, who really wanted to win the 2009 Piston Cup. Row 11 has Brick Yardley, the 2008 Florida 500 winner, and Jeff Burnton. Row 12 has the 1989 Piston Cup champion, Murray Clutchburn, and Jamie McCarry. Row 13 has AJ Carmendinger and Brian Vickers to his outside. Row 14 has Ernie Gearson, finally starting from a different position, and Brad Keselowski to his outside. Row 15 has Joey Logierno and Reb Meeker, who failed to qualify last week. Row 16 is Speedy Comet and Brick Hicks, who does not wreck cars like his older brothers. Row 17 is Joe Brickcheck and TG Castlenut, hoping to do something this race. Row 18 is Kevin Karvik and Phil Tankson, both of which should be further up the field. Row 19 is David Gillicar and Mike Yankee Jr., who's had a terrible start to the season. Row 20 has Chip Gearings and Aston Reynolds making his first start this season. Row 21 has Dirksen D'Agostino and Tommy Highbanks, both making their first start this season. And starting in 43rd is Todd Marcus, who qualifies because Rex Revler had to withdraw because his crew chief was late! And these 9 cars, among many others, failed to qualify for this race. Now, let's start the race. Cal Weathers would lead for the first 2 turns before he'd lose the lead to Kyle Busch-Tire, who would lead all the way until lap 13. But unfortunately, Chip Gearings would be out on lap 3 because of an engine failure. Casey Corner would take the lead on lap 13 and lead for 20 laps before Cal Weathers would retake the lead. He'd lead for 2 laps before he'd lose the lead to Kyle Busch-Tire, who'd only lead for 2 laps. Surprisingly, Joe Brickcheck will go on to lead his first 2 laps since 2006. But on lap 37, Casey Corner would be back in the lead, where he'd lead until lap 39, where Kyle Busch-Tire would be back in the lead, leading until lap 47. Todd Marcus would accidentally wreck himself and Ernie Gearson on lap 41. How? Casey Corner would retake the lead on lap 47 and lead to lap 79, where Denny Carlin would take the lead from him. He'd only lead for 2 laps before Lightning McQueen would take the lead and lead until lap 82, where Kurt Busch-Tire would take the lead from him, leading all the way until lap 117, where David Gillicar would surprisingly take the lead off of pit cycles. After Kurt Busch-Tire is done pitting, he retakes the lead, leading until lap 147, where Denny Carlin would retake the lead. He'd lead for 12 laps before Cal Weathers would retake the lead. He'd lead until lap 175, where Casey Corner would once again retake the lead, leading all the way until lap 212, where Denny Carlin would once again retake the lead, leading for just 2 laps before Jeff Burnton would take the lead for himself, leading for 3 laps before Casey Corner would take the lead from him. He'd lead for 10 laps before Kurt Busch-Tire would once again retake the lead off of pit cycles. But Casey Corner would retake the lead later that same lap, leading for 3 laps before Kurt Busch-Tire is once again back in the lead, leading until lap 244, where, you guessed it, Casey Corner retakes the lead. He'd lead until lap 277, where Denny Carlin would retake the lead. He'd lead until lap 283, where Casey Corner once again retakes the lead. He'd lead for 5 laps before Kurt Busch-Tire would be back in the lead. He'd lead all the way until lap 327, where Cal Weathers would retake the lead. for 3 turns before Kyle Busch-Tire would be 17th as of lap 327, where he wrecks David Rudikar, Carl Edwards, Joe Brakecheck, Bobby Swift, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Reb Meeker, Mark Carton, T.G. Castlenut, Dirksen D'Agostino, Aston Reynolds, and puts Jamie McCarry 1 lap down. Why? Clint Bokar would take the lead after the restart, leading for 3 laps before Kurt Busch-Tire would retake the lead. He'd lead until lap 344, where Casey Corner once again retakes the lead. He'd lead for 20 laps before Kurt Busch-Tire would retake the lead. He'd lead the field into the white flag. Wait, what? Lightning McQueen is 10th as of lap 399, and somehow he takes the lead on the final lap to win the 2010 Olympus 400, with Cal Weathers finishing 2nd, Kurt Busch-Tire 3rd, Matt Kenseth 4th, and Casey Corner rounding out the top 5. Here's the top 20 of the race, with AJ Carmendinger and Brian Vickers getting top 10s, and Jeff Gorvette finishing in 18th, somehow, with Mike Yankee Jr. right behind him. And here is the rest of the field, with Denny Carlin finishing 21st, and Tommy Highbanks is the last car to finish on the lead lap. Unfortunately, Mark Carton finished 33rd. He was in the top 5 in points before that, and Todd Marcus finishes 42nd by accident. And here is the top 20 in points, where Mark Carton has fallen all the way down to 10th. And somehow, Matt Kenseth is 5th in points, despite the fact he has not led a single lap this season, and he has 538 points.
Remember to press the notifications button, which goes ring, ring, ring after you press it. And lightning strikes back, and that's as if you subscribed, of course. And thank you for watching this entire video.
We've had 4 races in the 2010 Piston Cup season, and Lightning McQueen is almost 150 points ahead of Kevin Harvick. How? I guess winning 3 out of 4 races does have something to do with that. But how is this possible? And the next race of the 2010 Piston Cup season will be coming out very soon. Something that we can hope will end soon is the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Ukrainian people have suffered enough under the invasion and tyranny that Vladimir Putin has brought upon their country. We must continue to stand with Ukraine in their struggle against Vladimir Putin's tyranny. Slava Ukrainie! Heroyam Slava!